Good morning, everyone. Scott Phillips with the State Department of Education. Welcome to our student transportation webinar. We have Derek Newland on the phone. Derek, I'm going to turn the call over to you. Before we do that, just one little point of housekeeping. If you have questions during the webinar, there's a Q&A interface built into your system. If you could type those in, and then we will get to those questions as the webinar proceeds. Derek, the floor is yours, please.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I know that everybody's incredibly busy and probably has a lot of questions, and we'll try to get to those as quick as we can. I just wanted to give everybody a bit of an update as to what's been going on my end, on my staff's, and we are trying to facilitate everybody's questions as quickly as we can. And I know the standard answer is to please have flexibility and please have patience, and those are still great comments and ongoing. A few things that we have done that I wanted to pass on and make sure that everybody does know is, obviously maybe not obviously to you all, but to me, the main three questions that I get either emailed or called in on essentially a daily basis is, can we still pay our drivers? Can we still pay our contractors? And can we haul meals? And I've got part of that answered for you, which some of you have heard, and I'll just relay what I've done with the incredible help of Scott and the executive team, including the superintendent and Marilyn. I just want to read it verbatim. We had a provision added to SSBO, standing for Idaho School Bus Operations. It'll be on the back of page, I think on page 86 of SSBO. Next, it's section Y, and it states verbatim national, state, or local emergency provisions. And it goes on to say, in the event of declaration of a national, state, or county emergency, mileage related to, but not limited to, the delivery of food, delivery of instructional materials, and other trips supporting the continuation of educational services are considered reimbursable mileage. Guidance on tracking miles during an emergency declaration will come from the State Department of Education. So that's in there right now. That's been approved by the state board. Twofold I see on this, and obviously my first goal was to make sure that we're able to take care of the kids in our state the best way that we can as transportation do. So we're going to be able to haul meals, free and reduced meals out to the students as your district deem the best way to do that through yellow buses and transportation. I need everybody to track that mileage, and the best way I can see doing it right now is in iBus under mileage, in the other with the R next to it, reimbursable. If you can track it in there, document with the mileage and what it was for, then we'll make that reimbursable for the districts. But like I said, the most important thing is we're going to be able to help the students and the kids in our state get the things that they need for their continued success during these times. And the other part of it is it's a way for districts and contractors through the districts to employ people to drive the buses, work on the buses, aid in the buses to hand out food, supplies, setting up routes that need to be set up to keep probably not everybody, but a lot of people, some people employed. I know it's not a fix-all, like I stated before, but it is a road to ahead during these times. I've also stated, use this time. It's always, it's stated in there that the drivers need a minimum of 10 hours training annually. That's a minimum. If you can do other training, then bring them in and do other training to make sure that everybody stays as current as they possibly can. So that answers the third question. Are we able to haul meals and stuff? Yeah, we are, and supplies and homework, whatever the district's teachers, principals, superintendents deem necessary to help with the education of our children that we can do as transportation, we should do and make every effort to do so. As far as can we just pay our drivers, I can't give you the answer to that. I think a lot of it's waiting on the federal stimulus to see how that plays out, how it comes down, how it flows to us, but I don't have a carte blanche answer to say, yeah, pay all your drivers. And I don't have a carte blanche answer to say, yeah, pay your contractors. I think, and I've said it before, it's imperative for the districts to get with their legal teams, review the contracts, see what the obligations are, get with the school board, and come up with a plan on what's best to facilitate that in the best way possible. I understand wholeheartedly, and even on a personal note, that times are tough, and we're trying to figure out ways to make this right. I don't want any contractors to go bankrupt, but I also don't have the wherewithal to tell you to pay them. It's, like I said, up to your legal team and your school boards on the best way forward with that, whether it's fixed cost, whether you have an obligation to do that. Come up with a game plan, the best way to do it, and we'll try to go forward from there. But I can't tell you that today they'll be paid or not paid. It's not my call to make. I've got the questions pushed forward and pushed up the chain, and I think there's people waiting to see, again, what the federal stimulus is going to bring forward and how we're going to be able to help everybody. I don't want to lose any contractors. I don't want anybody to go bankrupt. When this is over, we need to have, and I understand, and I know you all understand, we need to have our contractors there and our drivers there ready and available to pick up operations as it was before, and it's going to be hard to do. So that's the best answers that I can give you right now today on what's going on. So that being said, it's a synopsis of where we are, what we've done so far, and the direction ahead for the time being. And realize as it changes for you, it changes for us almost hourly on what's happening on the state side, and on down, and on the federal on down. It's evolving daily as we go. So I wish I had more concrete answers for you on what to do, but those are the best answers I can give you as to right now. So that being said, I'll go ahead and Scott, if you can start with the questions. We'll go through those as quickly as we can and get out the best information we can. If I can't get you an answer to your questions, we keep note of all the questions, and I'll be on it electronically all the rest of the day and tomorrow to try to get the best answers I can to get out to back out to you. I want to do this once a week, hopefully on Tuesdays as things progress, but if something comes up that I feel is imperative that everybody needs to know, I'll work with Scott and with the rest of the comm and IT team to get the word out that we'll do another webinar before next Tuesday if there's news that's pertaining to helping everybody out. I know it sounds a little, I don't know if dysfunctional is the right word, but it's just nonstop changes going on. And I feel everybody's need and what they're trying to do and what they want to do. But at least for the time being, we have a way to pay some drivers and aides and techs for the food deliveries, the homework, supplies, and those things like that. So that being said, Scott, if you want to go through some of the questions that we have, we'll go from here.
Of course, Derek, thank you. First question, do parents qualify for, quote, pay in lieu, end quote, if they're driving to pick up a lunch or student packets?
I don't know the answer to that. Brent, do you know the answer to that? I don't know if Brent can get off mute and talk or not.
Let me find Brent in the,
I don't know what they do in the summer programs when they do the drop-offs and pickups. I don't know as though they get reimbursed for that. I think the fact that we're able to haul meals, I would think is in lieu of that, but I don't know
Brent
that.
Carpenter, Derek.
Right. Pardon me?
Brent, go ahead.
Brent Mahana. No, Brent Mahana.
All right, Brent, you are ready to go.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, I would say no on the parent in lieu. That's they're establishing those pickup points for everyone. We can definitely ask that question, but at this point, I would say no.
Yeah, that's why. Thanks, Brent. Next question. Thanks, Brent. You want to stay on the line, or any of the others that have that, then they help with that. That'd be great too. Go ahead, Scott.
We have a comment from Ryan. In a large district, this won't generate anywhere close to enough funds to keep paying our contractors.
I understand that. And, okay. And here again, like I stated earlier, we're waiting to see what happens with the federal stimulus and how quickly we can help with that. I don't know. We're just waiting for that, and I totally get it, and I understand that. Thanks.
What are your thoughts regarding the completion of driver evaluations not already completed?
Brent?
These are going to fall under the same thing as the 60 days and annuals. We're just going to have to do the best we can. Moving forward next year with spot reviews, we will, as long as these things are documented as to why and how and all the pertinent information, we're just going to have to work with that going forward.
And that goes to that memo that I put out a week or 10 days ago, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood the gist of that, and that it was essentially telling everybody that we understand during these soft closures and stay at home that some of the 60 days are going to lapse. I mean, we get that. We understand that you're not going to get dinged for it when we come back to do your reviews. We were just asking that you document it as to why, so that when a year from now we come in there, we'll see, oh yeah, that happened in March and April of 2020. We understand what was going on there, and give you guys enough time to get the 60 days done, before you start hauling kids again, because we got to make sure the buses are good to go. Scott?
Next question. I think I can field this one for you, Derek. When will we know more about stimulus dollars? Yesterday during Superintendent Ibarra's webinar, Tim Hill explained to everyone that the rough estimate of federal stimulus dollars that Idaho should receive comes in at around $47,855,000. We don't have a date yet on that, but as soon as we know more, that's something the superintendent will communicate out to the districts and charters. Next question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. May drivers file for unemployment?
I don't know. I think if they're laid off, that they probably can. I don't know the unemployment rules personally, but I would definitely look into it, and I would hope that the districts and transportation supervisors working with their legal teams can hopefully point their drivers in the right direction to help with this. I'm getting educated on it. I have family members that are going through the same thing right now that thought that they would never have to fill out unemployment paperwork, and they are. So, as a good leader in your districts, work with legal, work with Department of Labor, and find the websites and help them go in the direction, that to find out if they are in fact eligible.
All right. The next question I think is one I can field for you as well, Derek. Is there a possibility of a waiver for miles similarly to what Tim Hill does with low attendance? That question is referring to Idaho Code 331003A. It's a wonderful question, and the Q&As from webinars like these, the department is using to help kind of guide our conversation with other state policymakers. So that is one that I will make sure crosses the superintendent's desk.
Thanks.
Next question. This will be for you, Derek. Will SDE transportation be flexible on 60-day and 90-day bus inspection deadlines? Most of the bus fleet is sitting, only a few are being driven for other needs you identified.
Yeah, I think I just answered that. Yeah, we understand that. Just annotate it, and when you're back to work, go ahead and get them back into compliance. Brent, do you have any other comments on that?
I don't.
Okay.
Another question I think I can field for you. Will the state be pursuing the stimulus funds that are earmarked for education, and then the funds included for drivers, contractors, et cetera? In my conversations with the superintendent, she is interested in any funding source that will help students achieve in Idaho. So we're going to look under every rock that we can to try to keep schools whole in the upcoming financial times. And a question for, I think I can probably field this one. Superintendent Ibarra's webinar yesterday had mentioned that the stimulus money coming to schools was based on Title I members. However, to be eligible, schools had to keep people working and paying their contractors. Does this mean bus contractors? Can we get some guidance before next Tuesday on this question? Derek, I think that's a question you and I have discussed that really pertains to the individual contracts that the districts have with their bus companies. So I'll let you take that from there.
Yeah, I think that here again, you got to read your contract and see what's in there, and work with your legal team, and then as these monies filter down, we'll be able to, when and if they filter down, we'll be able to push it out to the districts. But I don't have a better answer for you.
Next question. Can the bus do deliveries and not part of a normal safety town route?
Brent?
I don't think we're going to nitpick that, Derek.
Yeah, just track the miles, don't you think?
Yeah.
I know you're going to have to audible some of your routes and make different routes that are going to be the smartest way to make the deliveries. And if you have to do that, you have to do that. Just track your miles so that they're reimbursable.
Next question. Are we able to deliver to students within the district that are not busable?
I don't understand that. Brent, do you understand the question?
I think what they're asking.
Safety busing, kids. Again, I don't think we're going to get into the deep weeds and nitpick this. Do what you need to do.
And track your mileage. Yeah.
Track the mileage.
Okay. Next.
Okay. Clarify, school districts will be funded and reimbursed normally if there is a clause in their transportation contract for reimbursement.
Well, I gave you my best answer on that. I think, like I said, if it's in the clause and you've gone through your legal team and it's in the best interest of that, then go forward with it. I can't say that today, yeah, you're going to get reimbursed for it. I feel that you hopefully will when the money's come down and we see it, but I can't guarantee that you're going to be reimbursed for it. Go ahead.
And this next question, I believe you just answered, Derek. Should school districts lay off drivers if they're not working or if they're still being paid to stay home? Will they be reimbursed?
I don't have the answer for that today. If you can employ them and work them, then by all means do it. But if you can't, then that's your all's call.
Derek, that looks like it concludes the questions that have come in. I'll add that one thing we'll be doing with these Q&As from today is we'll compile them within kind of the master question and answer document that we maintain for the superintendent's other webinars. That document is available on coronavirus.idaho.gov under the schools tab. You can get to it basically from the webinars and conference call section at the very bottom of that webpage. So if you'll give us a day or two, we'll answer the questions that we can on here and post the responses to that FAQ. Additionally, under that webinar section, as the next transportation webinar is scheduled, it will be listed there and the emails will go out with invitations.
Thanks, Scott. And final comments I have is that, we're not, it kind of feels like we're all lone rangering this and trying to figure it out. I reached out to all the 11 Western state directors, and I got about 11 different answers to the same questions that we all have. I mean, everybody's struggling. Everybody wants to do the right thing. Everybody's trying to figure out a way to do the right thing. But, it's an old term now, but we truly are in uncharted territory, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do this. And for now, employ your drivers and aides and techs the best ways you can to facilitate the routes for meals and supplies and homework and those other things that are coming up. If you've got more training that you can do the training, and those, those hours and all those will be reimbursed. And I hopefully will get better answers as time goes on, but those are the best answers I can give you today. So being said, if you have any more follow-up questions or anything like that, feel free to email them in to me or any of my staff, and we'll continue to work on this. I know that, and I think it's fine that, contractors and districts and bus drivers have been, writing letters to their legislators. They've been writing letters to the governor. There's nothing wrong with that. We're trying to do what's best for everybody here, but we don't have the answers yet. So nobody's taken offense to any of that. We're all working very hard and very diligently to do the best we can for everybody out there. And there's a lot of hours going in. There's a lot more gray hair going on to try to get this done. So I truly do, and I know my staff very much appreciates your patience on this. And I know it's very frustrating, and I wish I could give you a more concrete answer, but those are the best answers I can give you today. So unless there's anything else, I appreciate the call-ins. And as we get more words and better definition on the way to go, I will make sure that I get it out to everybody, and we'll get more webinars going. So being said, I want to thank everybody for it and press on. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.